We are live. We are live. Welcome back to Talk Talk Live. Just getting my live ready on the UBS Tubiest. On the Instagram and the UBS Tubiest, and we're back and we are live here on Talk Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Not the best of days for me. Well, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times for me. Simply because the bad news is my Arsenal is now out of the Champions League. They lost to a very credible side in PSG. I think PSG has been built over many years, and quite simply, they got their recruitment right, and they looked the readier, and they were healthier, and they were ready for war more than us. And kudos to PSG because that was probably the finest side we faced this year. And yeah, we deserved what we got at the end of the day. But a lot of work to be done to be a Champions League champion, and PSG are always there in the finals or near the finals, and they have had years of trial and error to get there. So again, we got to lose in order to win, and so we move forward. And this has to be the biggest transfer summer that we've had in our history, quite simply. If we are going to make a fist of it next year in the Premier League and also in the Champions League, because now we're on the radar by picking up a scout against the likes of Real Madrid. So this is a very important summer, probably the most important transfer summer in Arsenal's history. And we need to have big signings. We need to have a lot of players. We need to really go big, or we're gonna have to go home. And that being the manager being the first of those gone messages, quite simply because he is on the line because we are trophyless again for the fifth year in a row. And Arteta's number is on the list, quite simply, and he needs to produce. So he needs the people to produce those numbers. So let's see what happens. But let's get into it here on Talk Talk Live. Good news is we had a very good meeting downtown, and it was. And again, looking forward to how that bears fruit. So looking forward to that. But thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Talk Live. Yes, so let's get into it. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. As I take my fruit smoothie. Let's get into it. It's all about Myron Gaines being Michael Jordan. Let me say this about Myron Gaines. He is officially, to me, and many others, he is now the leader of the Red Pill. He is one of the more influential orators of our time. He'll go up against anyone, debate them, and more often than not, be a formidable opponent, if not win said debate. And he is not one to be messed with, and his reputation precedes itself, quite simply out there. And it was put on display on Anton Daniels' After Hours show, which is, I think, very, very reminiscent of Fresh and Fit. It's taken a lot of chapter and verse from that. But again, it's with some eloquent ladies. But again, I think a lot of people have taken a lot of cues from Fresh and Fit, not the Whatever podcast and many others et al. And it's all due to Myron's ingenuity. And if he and Andrew Tate are not the leaders of the Red Pill, are not the leaders of the Manosphere, if not the leaders on relationship dynamics, I don't know who is. He is just his reputation. As I said, reputation precedes him, and most women are, as you will see tonight. They know that they know not to deal with Myron in the way that he has. The way he has put forth his show and the way he handles women. He's dealt with about 3,500 women in his time on his show After Hours on Fresh and Fit, and he knows all the talking points of the manosphere to a point where he is now, I would say, a PhD level, and that is saying something, to a point where women don't even want to debate with him because they know they will be found out, and it's more of a foolproof subject now in terms of his talking points, to a point where women don't want to even be on his show. And we're gonna bring you why, and you know what, I see it akin to this. Well, Michael Jordan was in the NBA, and he was considered the GOAT, and he was considered God, and he was considered, I would say, the top of the top, the best that basketball has to offer all time. People didn't want his aura preceded himself. He'd walk onto a court and people would give him so much respect, and he would just win off literal, just literal intimidation of said men, and the stories that they would tell about his name and his reputation. And the same goes for Myron Gaines. Myron has the name alone of Myron Gaines now is of such a stature that most feminists would not even want to debate him anymore. I mean, it is reaching Kevin Samuels levels, and that is saying something. When you can go on air and you can reach said status of the Godfather and esteemed favor as well, that's saying something. That's saying something quite to be revered at such lofty heights. And revered to the level of an Andrew Tate, which both have collaborated on many a subject and are considered, acquaintances, if not friends. So, a lot of people are intimidated by the likes of Myron Gaines. A lot of people don't want to debate a Myron Gaines because his talking points are such that are so foolproof, and that he would go to college campuses and put many of them to shame. And it was recently put to task. As he visited South Carolina, as he visited Penn State, he is not one to be messed with at all, and you'll see that here tonight. And let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Enough with the monologue. Let's get into our browser. Let's get into what we have to say here via Myron Gaines. So let's get into this debate by this post by Manosphere Highlights Daily. I subscribe to them. He's doing wonderful things in YouTube streets. I don't want to see what's on the right side of this because it depresses me, because it talks about Arsenal, quite simply. But we're going to get into this debate. This is a nice little distraction from what I've had to deal with today, quite simply. Again, the best of times, the worst of times. So let's get into this. It is the video, Myron Gaines, When Facts Get Lost in Flames. I would think that's what he's referring to anyways. But I think the talking points of what Manosphere Highlights Daily is speaking of here, it rings so true, and I think Myron Gaines' reputation precedes himself, and you're going to see about that right now. And a lot of talking points are very, very true, and we're going to give an extended look at this appearance Myron had on Anton Daniels on Monday night. I think it is so very apparent his reputation around the world as being the leader of relationship dynamics and of the red pill. So let's get into this and red pill debate topics as well as Andrew Tate. I think the two are synonymous with excellence within this forum. So let's get into this. Myron Gaines, When Facts Get Lost in Flames by Manosphere Highlights Daily. Shout out to them. Please like and subscribe to Manosphere Highlights Daily, doing wonderful things in YouTube streets as we get into this right now on Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me. Let's get into it.
So why do you need to learn how to deal with people?
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I teach guys to avoid women like you, as a matter of fact.
Thank you. Stay away from me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You should be in the kitchen somewhere, but it's fine. We'll have this discussion. The reality is,
and you don't get that level of status and want to come back and deal with a woman that's going to sit there and argue with you. Like, the dumbest thing that women say is like, oh, yeah, you don't want a woman that challenges you? No, you dumb. Like, no, thank you. We got to go out and fight the world. Last thing I want to do is come back and argue with a woman.
When it comes to mainstream media and viral moments from the manosphere, there's a reason why guys like Myron Gaines and Andrew Tate keep getting pushed as the poster boys of this space, whether we like it or not.
Involuntary celibate stuff, it's the Andrew Tate shite.
It's not just what they say, it's how they say it. And sometimes all it takes is one word.
The manosphere is made up of macho podcasters and influencers.
There's no such thing as an independent female.
most women have zero concept of like money.
Females don't have independent thought.
Today, we're breaking down a live stream panel from After Hours with Anton Daniels, where Myron jumps in, drops a verbal nuke, and the energy in the room flips like a light switch. This is Exhibit A of why Myron gets the clicks, the hate, the fans, the outrage, and why the media just can't quit him. Let's roll the clip. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do.
I consider him the Michael Jordan of the space, and quite simply, the Michael Jordan of intersexual dynamics. When it comes to these sort of relationship debate topics, there's no one better than Myron Gaines and Andrew Tate. They're not only. Here's the thing about Myron Gaines that a lot of women hate is the fact that he's so persuasive. His arguments are so cogent. And quite simply, I have not seen Myron Gaines lose a debate to any woman at any time, or any sort of, or any blue-pilled simp cuck that is out there from the male perspective. I have yet to see it. So let's get into this with Myron Gaines. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Live once again.
Yeah, bro, I had to come in and show love because you showed me love, and I don't forget those that show support, man. So I figured I'd come in here real quick. So what I'm about to say does not represent any of the members of the panel, so I'm just going to be very honest and blunt about what I'm about to say, because it might be
And do remember, a lot of celebrities out there, including the likes of Shannon Sharp, including the likes of Stephen A. Smith, watch Myron religiously. However, they can't really reveal that because that'll upset their female quotient, and they're all caring about that. Let's continue.
Offensive. The reality is most women are retarded, okay? And the reality about this that
Pause right there. The word lands, and you can literally feel the temperature change. Two guys who were just beefing.
What's the difference? What's the difference? I'm asking you.
I hate arguing with you, bro.
Because you can't, you don't like this because you don't want anyone to make you substantiate your arguments. You can't just say blanket statements.
You're the king of not substantiating your argument.
And remember this point here, ladies and gentlemen, because we're gonna get back to this debate between Q Diddy and Shimmy, and believe me, you'll want to see that. Let's continue,
bro.
Now they're cracking up like middle schoolers behind the gym. Anton can't help but smirk. The women smiles, disbelief, maybe a little smoke coming out their ears. But no one leaves, no one logs off. Why? Because now it's a show. And let's be real, this is why Myron gets clipped. That one word, it's a flashbang grenade. Offensive? Yep. Outdated? For sure. Effective? Without a doubt. But Myron doesn't drop words like that accidentally. He's not confused. He's calculated. He's not talking about medical conditions. He's saying, in his view, that most women are mentally underdeveloped when it comes to logic and decision making in the dating arena.
You guys need to understand.
And that's the truth. That is the ultimate truth that we're speaking on here. And the thing about it is, Myron has the facts, data, and statistics to back it up. The thing about Myron Gaines is he is such a master orator. He is such a master, don't take the pun, master debater. He is a man who knows how to be argumentative in a formal setting. Put out a statement that's going to make headlines and then back it up with facts. And cogent facts, and facts delivered with confidence and intelligence. Once you have that, you have a lot of your critics in the palm of your hands. And they couldn't argue much. Believe me, I've watched this show twice. Myron was barely interrupted. And in a room full of black women, that is unheard of. Let's continue.
When I say that most women are retarded, is that the software is always the same. The hardware is what's different. Whether the skin color, the cultural background, whatever, the hardware is always the same. The software is always the same. The hardware might be different. So the only real difference, right, sometimes is cultural situations, background, the way they grew up, etc., will maybe dictate their mannerisms, the way they behave, and what they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, all women are trying to do the same thing, which is do what? Get the best man that they can get based on their education level, socioeconomic level, where they stand socioeconomically. And that's just kind of how it goes. Now, different races and different cultures obviously go about it in different ways, right? We can look at a lot of black women. They're attracted to the thug type. They're attracted to men that exude masculine characteristics, though they might be more, reminiscent of like being a criminal, because these are traits that women look for in a lot of situations. Or it could be, the white girl who's looking for a guy who has some money and some status and has some bad boy tendencies, but, has some status alongside it. So every race goes about it in different ways, but the reality is women are all looking for the same type of guy. The way they go about it might be differently, because hypergamy, extends regardless of, what a woman's race is. Just so happens that they go about it in different ways, but the reality is that women are always going to fall to hypergamy.
His core
Stop right there. For those who don't know, the reason why he is a master at his craft is the fact that he makes things relative to his opponents as well as his contributors, as well as his choir, as they say. He broke things down to a point where women couldn't argue. He spoke to their nature, and quite simply, they had no chance to rebuff that point, because he got women to their core of their being. He knew that women are indeed hypergamous. He knew that women follow the rule of 6. He knew that women are terrible leaders when it comes to it. If you treat them like a star, they'll treat you like a fan, that sort of thing. See Judge Greg Mathis and his, trying to avoid his divorce from his wife, whom he propped up for 30 years, yet she wanted to leave because he did not follow her lead. Once you have the facts, data, statistics backing you up, you can make bombshell things that women are stupid. You can make those arguments. And women will have to shut up and say, yeah, we are stupid. When you know women better than women know themselves, that's what makes a Michael Jordan. When he knows a person's game before they know they can give their answer, they can give their retort, he's Michael Jordan. He has studied women to a science for the past 3 to 4 years. He's had 3,400 interviews with ladies, and all say the same thing. He knows what's coming at him, and he dodges it like Neo from The Matrix. Lana BK said he's also known for rage baiting. No, he's also known to bring the attention to himself and have everybody silenced down. When he says women are retarded, there's the hand grenade. Now I got your attention? Great. These are the reasons why women can be retarded. And making it so relative to their ideals, to their modus operandi, their personality traits, they can't argue. That's why, and the thing about it is, women who try usually get put on a poster. The expression "put on a poster" is a very basketball expression, where you get dunked on, and you get basically, dribbled out your socks. You got your jock strap over here and you over there. That's what's called being put on a poster. And Myron puts women on a poster every week. That is a form of intimidation. I have yet to see someone come at Myron and he not literally deal with them there and then. The last time, there are only 3 people I know in this space. Well, there are more. But the 3 most famous people in this space, Kevin Samuels, Andrew Tate, Myron Gaines. 3. All dealt with female nature so succinctly and so charmingly that women had no choice but to be captivated by their talking points. That's why I say Myron Gaines is Michael Jordan. If women come at him, he puts them on a poster because he knows what they're going to say. If he makes a bombshell statement, he backs it up, and women have no choice but to agree. He knows their game before they even play the first move. He's how should I say this? He is a master chess player of the highest order. He knows the moves, he knows where you're going to go, and there's nothing you can do about it. Let's continue.
Message: women are hypergamous. Their instinct is to look up. So when a man doesn't check every single status box, they can't respect him. Their emotions override their logic. Not emotional, primitive. Now, does that justify saying retarded? Probably not, but that's exactly the point. It's shock value with a thesis behind it. That combo? Pure gold. This is why he gets the invites, the controversy, the platform, the attention. And here's the reality. Not everyone in the manosphere talks like this. Not everyone agrees with how far he takes it. But once the media picks a villain, they don't go looking for nuance. They go for the loudest one in the room. Now let's go to Exhibit B.
Do you think that it changes based off of culture or race? So like, for example,
sure,
what Paul Pierce saying that a lot of NBA players, because see, my opinion of it, when Paul Pierce said that a lot of NBA players or athletes go for white women, I think that a lot of NBA players that I've met has just been goofy.
Listen to how this man breaks this down. It is absolutely surgical. There's no doubt about that. It is absolutely surgical how he breaks this down, and it is so true that all these women have to agree at the end of the day. He has seen this to its end, and no one could argue with it. Let's continue.
Like, a lot of them are young. A lot of them haven't necessarily lived long enough. A lot of them get resources, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they understand the dynamics of women. A lot of times they just get with women based off of what's available, and a lot of them are at their hotel rooms, or a lot of them at the hotel before they even show up. Do you think that the cultural differences also yield different results when it comes to women? And I'm not even just talking about athletes, I'm talking about great men in general. Do you think that the cultural differences or the race plays a role in whether or not men are attracted to them, or do you just think that it's culture by itself and the type of men that women go after?
I mean, it's such a multitude of different things. Like, if we're going to talk about NBA players, right, for example, just as the first one. So a lot of these guys play college first. When you're in college, a lot of the times you're in a white dominant, situation where you're an athlete, you're Division I athlete. I could say this from experience from being a Division I athlete myself. Like, the women are going to just gravitate towards the D1 athletes. And then when you're a basketball player or a football player at a Division I school, you're kind of at the top of the pecking order from a social status perspective. So what ends up happening is, let's say you did come from an inner city, you were the top guy, then you go to a big Division I school, you're not seeing Shaniqua and LaQuisha anymore. You're seeing, Becky and a bunch of other girls from Midwest. So like your thing switches, and men, we like variety. So since men like variety, this is something different that I'm not used to. Oh, I'm going to go with this. And what's happening a lot of times is these guys will get a girl in college, and that girl will kind of follow them along. And then, they might have that chick as a woman that was with them when they were playing sports, or they might find a girl once they get into league or whatever. But what I realized is, like, with men, it just comes down to variety. I don't think men care so much about, everyone has their preferences, of course, but I think what men care about the most is, like, is this girl going to be submissive, not be a pain in the ass? Because a lot of times when men make money and they acquire status, they acquire that money and status, and the first thing they do is get rid of problematic women a lot of the times, right? Because you don't make that kind of money and you don't get that level of status and want to come back and deal with a woman that's going to sit there and argue with you. Like, the dumbest thing that women say is like, oh, yeah, you don't want a woman that challenges you? No, you dumb whore. Like, no, thank you. We got to go out and fight the world.
Stop. Let me tell you something right now. That is the most succinct breakdown of a D1 athlete's career and how he separates himself from feministic, modern woman-like, aggressive, masculine Toxic women. When they get to a D1 college, I've been there, I've seen it. When they get to a D1 college and they see Becky and Cherry and, well, Rachel want to show how fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive they are, guess what? Black men eat like black men who are used to seeing Loquisha and Shaniqua with their attitudes, with their masculine behaviors, with their negative demeanors, literally say, I want away from this place. I never want to see that again. When you're getting a high-value woman, fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, you'll want nothing else once you get it. And you usually get that when you head to college, and especially when you're a D1 athlete, especially in football or basketball. Because if you're a very good D1 athlete, chances are you're on to bigger things, not only in the big leagues in North America, but also in Europe as well. And guess who will follow you right along with you? Yep, those women. Because here's the thing about black women, unfortunately, and this is not counting for most black women to any great extent. A lot of black women will wait until the finish line, and yet they'll not do the things necessary to keep them. They'll think, no, I'm a black woman, I should be counted on regardless. No. And I've said that countless number of times here in Talk Live. The playing field has changed. Have you seen the NFL draft recently? Have you seen the NBA draft coming up in the next couple of months? Have you seen the MLB draft? A lot of those D1 athletes, those top draft picks, are choosing women of other races than their own. Because the NFL is about 60% black, the NBA is about 70%. And they aren't going for Shaniqua and Loquisha anymore. Especially when they receive the love from other race of women who will be fit, who will be friendly, who will be feminine, but most importantly will be cooperative and submissive to you as a D1 athlete. They'll do your homework. As Myron said on the show, they'll rub your feet. They'll cook your meals. They'll make sure when you're sick, they'll do well. They'll make your bed. They'll do your homework. Ask a black woman to do that. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let's continue.
Masterclass in chaos. That entire breakdown, flawless. He was surgical, articulate until the final punch. Then, bam.
No, you dumb whore. Like, no, thank you.
Was it necessary? Nope. Did it work? Oh, absolutely. Because just like a freestyle battle, it's not about being correct. It's about the finish. That final hit turns it from a discussion to a moment. And again,
stop there. He's right about that. Very good analogy as well. I used to rap back in the day. And you know what it was all about? It was all about the hooks. It's not about the flow. It's not about it's about the hooks. And if you can play said hooks on beat, speaking about your opponent, that's what being a master freestyle battle rapper is all about. Can you get that wow factor, get that sort of visceral reaction from an audience while pointing out flaws in your opponent in a very cogent, very fluid, very punchy sort of manner? That's a secret. That's a secret to being a master hip-hop battle rapper. Consider Myron Gaines a master battle hip-hop rapper. You don't hear a peep from these women because they know his reputation. They don't want to be in anything he's calling up because they know he's experienced and they know if they dare speak up against him, he's got something for him. Again, intimidation. Again, Jordan-like presence. He can literally walk into a room. They know who he is. Don't mess with that kid. Don't do it. He knows about us. He'll tell us about us, and he'll be good doing it. Andrew Tate very much the same. When he was on Jeff Pearly Thing's show the other day. Actually, she's being remonetized, so that's something. But anyways, there's something to it. Yeah. Well, anyways, there's that Becky attitude thing that got her remonetized. Anyways, nonetheless, when Andrew Tate was on the show with Brittany Renner on her show, that famous show, when Andrew Tate was literally taking down Brittany Renner, she knew it, but she couldn't respond to it. But did it in such a charming way, in such a cogent way, in such a way that is quite convincing. She knew that, she had to fall in love with him. There was no choice. Especially when he was perspicacious as well with it. When he handed her, I saw you were being sour. Here, take this clementine. He knows his subject matter. He knew that this woman was irked by him. He knew he was spitting facts. And still, here, take this treat. I know that a lot of it is being taken with vinegar, but I'm very Jordan-like. You're going to have to take it. I see the same thing in Myron Gaines. The exact same thing. And that's the reason why, indeed, he gets to come back on all these debate shows. That's the reason why he's a man who divides attention. That's the reason why he can go on a college campus, the home of feminism itself, and literally lay people to rest in the homes of higher learning. If you ever get a chance to see Myron Gaines on University of South Carolina campus, please, I implore you to go see it. Because the way he dealt with that public, hundreds of young adults, it was masterful. He is Jordan. I'm sorry. If you have something against it, come at me in the comments. But I have yet to see, yet will I see, anyone come at Myron Gaines and win. Let's continue.
Let's be honest. The question was classic effeminist fluff. Don't you want a woman who challenges you? Translation: don't you want someone who argues, nags, questions you, and calls it empowerment? So yes, the question's dumb, but that doesn't make her a whore. Myron knows that, but he's not aiming for accuracy. He's aiming for impact. And that's why the media eats it up, because now it's a viral clip, not a conversation. The rest of what he said, gone, overshadowed, canceled out by 2 words. But here's where it gets interesting.
Stop here. Before they get into this debate, stop here. What did they always accuse Jordan of? What did they always accuse? What did they always know Jordan for being? A human highlight reel. He was one for the replay, one for the viral clip, one for the master move, the critical shot, the classic moment. Same thing with Myron here. He is so clipped up. These girls are frozen in their tracks. Absolutely frozen. They dare not respond to him. These are black women. Remember that when I'm telling you. These girls will kick off in a moment if they see a sign of weakness. There is none. There was none. So they stayed very silent, very quiet, and they knew good and darn well, don't be put on a poster. Don't do it. Because the way this man puts forth his points, the way this man understands women and is surgical with his argumentative style, they didn't want to touch it. They literally didn't want to touch it. Tonight was a lesson to be learned. Shut up and listen. For you to go into a room of black women and have them stunned to silence. You must know what you do. You must know what you're doing. But don't take my word for it, because remember, this is something that was going on, and I'll allude to the another part of this whole debate in a minute. But after Myron left, this is what happened.
I just don't understand why everybody was so quiet. When I be saying that shit, damn near the exact same things. Everybody got all the pushback in the world.
You said you get
we
pushed
talk
back.
to you every day, Slimmy.
I know.
Wait, you said you get.
I know.
You said you get pushed back on what now?
I be saying the exact same shit.
I don't know. What did you say you get pushed back on? I just said differently.
Now the black women are back in the room. The black women are back in the room, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah. Here we're going to give him a moment's edgewise. They see him as an everyday chap. Slimmy, I'm so sorry, man. They see you as Mr. Everyday. They're not going to give you the respect of a Myron Gaines. Hell no. They're not going to sit down and take notes. Hell no. Who are you compared to Myron Gaines? You are a high school graduate compared to a man with a doctorate. You are a man with a brown belt compared to a triple black belt like Myron Gaines. That's why women sit down, shut up, look at the highlight reel. Say, I don't want to be put on a poster. Leave that man alone. Leave him alone. If I go against him, I'll be next. I don't want to be anywhere near this man. I'll be next. When you have that sort of reverence, when you have that sort of confidence, clarity, and outright ability, intelligence, debating chops, a lot of people are going to shut up. And for you to get a room full of black women to shut up is an absolute art. But again, this was built over many years. This was built over many clips. This was built over a lot of time. Actually, it's only about 3 years. But this man, if you can do this over a 3-year span where women have to shut up and listen, Kevin had to wait till... Myron Gaines is 37. Kevin, God love him, Godfather and all, he had to wait till his mid-50s to get this sort of audience. But again, he was a trailblazer, so I'll give him his due. But Myron Gaines is no joke. When you can walk to the most combative of women, not to say these women are combative, but they have the potential to be. And you can literally have them sit down, shut up, and take notes.
What did you say?
We all say what he says.
You say what?
Huh?
What do you say?
What do you get pushback on?
No. I'll be saying the exact same things that he was just saying.
But what do you get pushback on? Is what Mika was saying. Like, what part would you normally get pushback from us on?
You know what parts. You know y'all be sitting there that damn. You know y'all don't be sitting there that damn quiet.
Man, here's the thing about Slimmy, unfortunately, is he doesn't have the skills of listening and comprehension and retort of Myron Gaines. As you can see, he's already been funneled. You know what I'm saying. No, Myron would have had an answer like that. He would have listened. He would have remembered, oh yeah, remember when you said this and this and this and this? Well, I answered with using this and this and this. Now you understand where I'm coming from? He would have an answer for them. Unfortunately, Slimmy was challenged and he was caught slipping. So they're going to jump all over him. He is a man that just came out of high school and he's going against Michael Jordan. He may fool him with a step, but he knows where you're going with the ball. And it will be taken away from you. Prime Michael Jordan will know what you're going to do with the ball. Take it out of there. I will put you on a poster. Don't play with me. And a lot of these women didn't want to play with Myron. It is come to a point, if you ever look at Fresh and Fit from here on in and After Hours, they don't play with Myron. They'll play with Fresh a little bit because he's the nice guy, but they know if they mess around with Myron, they're in for trouble. You either get kicked out or you get blown up. He's Jordan, baby.
There it is, the elephant in the chat. Slimmy's not wrong. He's pointing out the hypocrisy. Everyone on that panel had something to say when he made a point, until Myron logged in. Why? Because clout talks louder than content. It's not about what's being said, it's about who's saying it. You could have 10 guys making the exact same point, but if Myron or Tate says it, boom, it hits different. That's the formula. It's not just about being right. It's about being recognizable, polarizing, undeniable.
Why do you need to learn how to...
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. He's absolutely correct. It's about being polarizing. It's about being controversial. It's about controlling a room. Myron Gaines controls a room. Just like Michael Jordan controls an arena. All eyes are on him. What he's doing in terms of his mannerism, the way he walks, the way he talks, when he grabs the ball, how he controls the play. Same thing. Same thing. When believe me, when Michael Jordan was playing, you couldn't take your eyes off him. Everybody wanted to know what Michael Jordan is doing. Same thing here. Everybody wants to know what Myron Gaines is going to get at next. It cannot be understated. Here again, he was on the University of South Carolina campus. Absolutely toying with these kids. Toying with them. Man, no. Stop. They're all rookies in this field. All you have are snide remarks that don't even make sense. I am a 4th degree black belt. I will deal with your... Let it continue.
Deal with people.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I teach guys to avoid women like you, as a matter of fact.
Thank you. Stay away from me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You should be in the kitchen somewhere, but it's fine. We'll have this discussion.
Fresh and Fit didn't blow up because they discovered a secret code. They blew up because they put that code on full display with fireworks. They brought women into the studio, created real-time tension, let the chaos happen, and never apologized for it. That's what made them go viral. Same with Tate. He didn't invent red pill ideology, but he wrapped it in a Bugatti, an accent, sunglasses, and outrageous one-liners. So when Slimmy says, y'all only care when he says it, he's not bitter. He's just telling the truth. This is the game.
Right? Like, I actually am being honest here and saying that female sports are pretty pointless and no one watches it because it's not interesting.
And he's right.
Interesting.
If it wasn't for male subsidies of female sports, I've already showed that to you, they would not be in existence.
And here's the thing.
Thank you very much to Manosphere Highlights Daily for doing this wonderful, wonderful breakdown of Myron Gaines. Myron Gaines he's a killer. He's a literal killer. Please sign up for Manosphere Highlights Daily. He's doing wonderful things in YouTube streets. I am already subscribed to them. I think he's doing wonderful work. And let's move on because I want to go back into this topic right here. Now, I'm going to fast forward to going to continue with the debate, and then we're going to play it back again. And we're just going to play for a few minutes longer, the actual debate. But I want to get to right about here. Around, there. And I want you to hear the reactions of the people in the audience. Myron hits different. There's no lie, there's no debate, there's no joke about it. And for those who wish to challenge him, good luck. And remember, a lot of the talking points that Slimmy was saying, which are true, but he did say, he may or may not have said, but the way his reputation and the way he raps. How did that happen? I don't know what that was. Let's go back. I don't know how that happens. Anyways, let's go back. But I want you to see.
And when those sentiment.
Stop that. But when Myron Gaines goes into a topic and debates a topic, believe me, it does hit different. There is no joke about it. A lot of women are stunned to silence, and they dare not repeat because they don't want to be put on a poster. It's like Jordan dunking on your head top and not thinking that some camera will be on you to bear witness. It's gonna happen, and you don't want to be the next one. So a lot of women just stay quiet and say, "No, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be losing this debate. Let me shut up and listen." That is the reputation of Myron Gaines these days. When you have that sort of rarefied air, that's the reason why you get on all these debate shows. That's the reason why you're considered the leader of the manosphere and on intersexual dynamics. That's the reason why nobody wants to debate you. How many times? Let me tell you something. And I've listened and I've watched Myron Gaines' career for over the last couple of years. No one wants to get into a debate with Myron Gaines. He has put himself out there for many a topic. Nobody wants to get involved in the debate with Myron Gaines. They don't. They know it's trouble. They know it wouldn't be good for them. Because men and women, because they'll be put on a highlight reel, and they don't want that. They rather not want the smoke. And Slimmy, for all of his for his relatively good points, here's what people had to say about his debate, because they were debating for 4 hours on this show. It was 4 hours long. Slimmy was there all that time to debate many topics in the night, but especially the one in which Myron was there for. And this is what they had to say. Let's get into this. I just want you to look for 5 minutes as to how the audience treated Slimmy, even though he was talking the same way about and the same talking points as Myron Gaines. Maybe not as cogent, but still the same way. Let's continue.
And aren't articulated, that's when the frustration sets in. Because it's really hard to argue with Kerry, let's be honest.
Well, I'm going to
love you, Kerry.
Read these super chats, and then we're gonna get it on. Is there a link to join the conversation? No, it wasn't one tonight, my friend. I'm sorry, yo. Dr. G says, nah, JJ Slimmy Walker has never dated a white girl. Stop the cap, bro. Time to go viral. Myron is here, says Lonnie. Ismail says, I agree with Quentin. People are.
And in doing this, please listen to the reputation of people. These are average people putting money to Anton Daniels. They're using super chats and giving their assessment on the debate topics of the evening. They're unsolicited. Here's how they think of both Slimmy, Myron Gaines, and the panel.
A product of their environment. All things aren't 100% or absolute. In general, there are differences with women. OG Warman says best collab move Anton bringing Myron on. Joshua says Myron and Anton, let's effing go. And dub to Castle Club. Shout out to Myron. Isaiah Hunter says, holy shit, Anton brought on Myron. Malik, shout out to Malik, says, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time donating and committing to your content, Mr. Daniels and friends. I do hope you guys are having a great night and day. And I thank you for the informational content you have spread to the public. Thank you, Malik. And I appreciate.
Do remember, Myron Gaines has survived this long for a reason. He has his own platform. They demonetized him, but yet he still has a huge following. Why? Because there's no one else like him. Short of wow, why is that? Why is that name escaping me? Short of Andrew Tate, there it is. Short of Andrew Tate, there's no one like Myron Gaines. So you're getting $100 donations, you're getting $50 donations, you're getting top dollar because Anton Daniels had a coup with Myron Gaines, and none of these girls wanted to smoke. Again, let's go.
Appreciate you. Thank you for always supporting the platform. Now, Ismail says Myron is cooking. I love feminine black women, but Myron is correct. Like Anton said the other day, the biggest enemy to a black man is a black woman. 6'8" Aquarius says Myron got to be an Aquarius. Be careful asking us a question if you don't want to be unintentionally offended. Kenny 3 Stack says Slimmy want to disagree with Myron so bad, but the logic makes too much sense. D-Lock says Myron for president, logic and common sense matters. Live from the motherland says this really isn't a race issue. It's neo-feminism issue. It's divided the gender and trained the modern woman to view all men as an assailant instead of an ally. Hot Don John says X is cooking on all skills. Myron Gaines X. Ismail says, thanks, Myron, for visiting my alma mater, the University of South Carolina last week. I was out of town in Atlanta and missed your visit. AD Go Blue. My dad and sister are Michigan grads and grew up in A2. Shout out to the people that grew up in A2, Ann Arbor to be exact. Macaroni Tony says, bring Jazz and Jess up now. Tariq Walker, shout out to you. I appreciate you. Myron, please connect Anton with Andrew Wilson, says Joshua. Mayor 963 says, mic drop for Myron. Ismail says, I wish Jazz was on here to hear Myron and sit and learn. Dash says, often try to publicly emasculate men when he expresses anything she doesn't like. So the pick me label is just the female equivalent of it. They're basically being defeminized or unwomaned. Never heard that one. GameWise DJ says the godfather of SP Scent Pill. 6'8" Aquarius says, Myron, I hope Molly isn't calling herself a pick me because she supports Anton, because she supports any man with money that uncover conservative feminist is her. Kenny 3 Stacks says, good thing Jazz isn't here. D-Lock says, get this man an Oscar mask. Yes, ladies, you were so beautiful, mature, and open-minded. Awesome show tonight. Big Hurt in the building says, Eddie, bring Tariq Nasheed on the panel since you're into getting different approaches, especially relationships. He's qualified. Dr. G says we need to see Jazz get Frank castled by Myron. OG War Machine says this is like watching Avengers in Endgame. After tons of build-up movies, Captain America voice, Avengers assemble with Anton and W Myron. Love to see you do a collab on Fresh and Fit. Great show, AD. Salute to the whole panel, says James Sharp. Y'all gave Myron a good glazing tonight.
Good glazing. If you know what glazing means, if you know, you know. And a lot of these ladies gave him the best glazing, to be fair.
Slimmy is right. Y'all was quiet as a church mouse, says Big Hurt. McTwiz says, after Myron left, Slimmy reminded me of how Woody felt after Buzz Lightyear put up in Andy's rope. But don't work, Slim. This is so dumb.
We know what he's talking about, though. That's the problem.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I wanted you to hear. After Myron left, Slimmy reminded me of how Woody felt after Buzz Lightyear pulled up in Andy's room. He was rendered obsolete, Slimmy, unfortunately. But when you're dealing with the Jordan of these debate topics, you will be put on a poster, whether you like it or not. It's friendly fire, I know, but you'll still be put on a poster. And I feel bad for Slimmy that he was on this show, that he put that debate in the air. But when you're considered Woody to Myron's Buzz Lightyear, what more can you say? Debate over. Even these people had to laugh. Look how long they laughed for.
This is so stupid.
Fucking Toy Story.
Beginning 30 seconds. Go grab me. McDice says, Carrie trying to say that don't even make sense. OG Warshing says, Sammy Hart gets a blank.
When you're in the presence of greatness, this is what happens. You get clowned. I feel bad for Slimmy. But when you're in the presence of a Myron Gaines, of the Michael Jordan of this ish, you're going to get clowned. You will suffer from friendly fire, people. This was bad. This was really, really bad. Let's continue.
My cheeks hurt. Molly, come back.
I feel bad for Slimmy. Look at him. He got to take this. He got to take this L. He's got to get cooked. He is getting fried, fricasseed, and flambéed. Unfortunate for Slimmy. You're not Myron Gaines. You may debate the same topics. You may sing from the same choir, but you're not a virtuoso soloist like Myron Gaines. It's just not it. It's chalk and cheese. It's wheat and chaff. But when you're in the presence of Myron Gaines, stand down. Just stand down. Just do what you can, but stand down. The man is a 4th degree black belt. The man is Michael Jordan. In this space, he's Michael Jordan. Just stand down. The best you can do is watch greatness, take a few notes, but don't try to follow in his footsteps because there is no second act, as you can clearly see. I'm going to go back a little bit here because there's something I just wanted to debate here. Where's Myron? Yes, indeed. Here we go. It's just a little bit here in terms of black women that I just wanted to debate a bit. I feel bad. I feel really, really bad for Slimmy. But, yeah. I just want to let this ride for a couple more minutes, and then we're going to close out the show. Let's go.
Being super nice, listening to their man, dressing the way that their man wants, cooking for him or whatever. They're doing these like traditional roles. And no bitches, we accept this reality. Women though, however, I noticed don't understand this.
To have kids, but they're taught to go get an education. They're not taught to not be a wife, but they're also not necessarily taught to prioritize being a wife. They're not necessarily taught the characteristics that a husband that they want would actually be looking for.
So
everybody doesn't come from a broken home either. I mean, I know a lot, we say that a lot, and I'm not downing the numbers on it, but everybody doesn't come from a broken home. A lot of people have a 2-parent example, but they might not necessarily know how to be the wife
I would
they
say
want the husband
it's not
for.
just a black issue.
Here's the thing about it, ladies and gentlemen. If you wanted to learn how to be a wife, you'd go to school for it. Just like any career. You'd have to study. You'd have to gain experience in order to get in any career field that you want to be in. Why can't women en masse learn how to be wives if they have no example of such at home? That is the remaining question. Because if you can go to school to be whatever you want to be, why can't you go to school to be a wife? And there are etiquette schools out there, to be sure, to be frank. But a lot of women won't do it because they feel they don't need to. And the only way they're going to learn is if men reject those attitudes and those mannerisms and those personalities en masse and say, no more, you need to do better. Great job for Myron to bring that, well, that's my own take on the subject anyways. But I'm sure Myron would surely agree about that. Let's continue.
It's a whole U.S. issue. The nuclear family has been destroyed, and there's a bunch of reasons for that. You know, feminism, etc., has been, I think, one of the biggest problems when it comes to degradation of the nuclear family. But what I will say is, because you mentioned a good point, that women, like, you know, they're told to go to school and pursue. And I would say, right, if someone wanted to lose weight, right, and they truly wanted to change their body, they would have to change everything about their lifestyle. They'd have to start going to sleep 8 to 10 hours a night. They'd have to prioritize going to the gym. They would have to change their entire lifestyle around to be able to achieve that goal. Here's the problem. We tell women that they can kind of live their life the way that they want, and there's going to be a good man at the end waiting for them. And the problem is, if you want a guy to take care of you, well, then you need to be in a position where you're prioritizing finding that guy. Because the days of, and this is kind of the conundrum of feminism, right? So what feminism effectively did was it gave women the autonomy to pursue a career, make their own money, and become successful and be on their own. But what that also did was it.
I'm going to leave it there for a second. Come on back to the second part of the show in the second hour, and we'll finish up this debate. Let's continue. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the live, back to the story. Let's do this morning glory. As we're back on YouTube here on Talk Live, we're going to continue with the debate here on Myron Gaines and indeed what women need to do in order to make themselves better candidates to be wives and mothers. Let's continue.
Ostracizes the average man from the dating and relationship marketplace, because women will never admit this, but I'll say it for you guys. There's nothing worse for a woman than settling on a guy that she feels that she could do better than, right? And what ends up happening is with a lot of average men, 5'8", making 30 to 50K per year, a lot of women see better than that in America. Even average looking women feel that they could do better than that, right? There's nothing worse than an average guy to a majority of women. So what women do is they'll go to school.
As Myron says, they are invisible to women, and it's so very, very true. A lot of average men making $30,000 to $50,000 a year don't get the love from women, if not be seen by women at all. Let's continue.
Pursue an education, they'll become successful. And what they're hoping is that there's going to be a guy more successful, more attractive, more ambitious than her at the end of that road. But what she's effectively done, because she's become average herself or better than average, is she's just now ostracized a majority of men that would have been a great candidate for her before. But feminism has made it where women are told not to settle, become independent. But you got to ask yourself, who are they independent of? They're independent of men. We don't walk around and say, oh, we're strong and independent. You guys will laugh at us. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all niggas? But we run around and we praise women for being independent all the time. But we don't ask ourselves, independent of who? It's of men. Of which men in particular? The majority, AKA the average man. Most women are chasing the same small 10 percentile of guy. 6 foot plus, 100K per year, good career, charming, love dogs, asshole, but at the same time, you know, a nice guy. Like, they're looking for something that's very difficult to find in one guy. So when you made the topic like, hey, women are told to go, you know, get their money, but at the same time also kind of be a wife. The problem is that for the caliber of guy that they're looking for, right? Ironically enough, they need to prioritize finding a husband. But the problem is that they're pursuing a career so much that they don't have the time and a lot of the times interest to even pursue this guy. Like, and this is another controversial take, and I'll say this real quick, and I'd love to get the ladies' take on this. I say all the time, women lack empathy, okay? They have sympathy, but they don't have empathy, and I'll explain what I mean by this. So, men, we...
Look at the women's faces as he's pointing out his arguments, ladies and gentlemen. They're shaking their heads, they're nodding their heads, they're literally taking mental notes. When you can get black women to take mental notes, you're reaching them. And you know who had the same sort of captivation of women as well? Kevin Samuel of myself and what I'm doing now. That's exactly the look that that's exactly the sort of space that Myron Gaines has at this point in time, where women are literally sitting there and saying, you know what? I best take notes on this man because this man is talking some real sense. He's speaking truth to this monolith of feminism, and quite simply, he's starting to reach women because he knows how to get them to listen, get them to learn, get them to buy in. And once you do that, especially to an audience of black women, you're a superstar. You're an absolute superstar.
We understand innately that we need to go out there and improve ourselves, make money, get some status, etc., so that we could be a catch. We understand that we're a bum working at McDonald's. We ain't getting no bitches. We accept this reality. Women, though, however, I noticed, don't understand this. I'll give you an example. A girl will open up an Instagram, have pictures of herself all over the internet being a thot. She'll go pursue a career. She'll do a bunch of twerking stuff on the internet. She'll wear weird weaves. She'll do all this kind of crazy stuff, right? And what'll happen is she'll do all this not knowing that, like, men, though they might look at you from an attraction standpoint, they're not actually wanting to.
Look at Slimmy's face, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't realize that he's changed the camera angle on his view. Slimmy was trying to say smile. So, oh, he's gone now. No, He ain't gone. He just changed camera angles. Such is the hate of Slimmy. Such is the hate of Slimmy, unfortunately. He could never be a Myron Gaines. Maybe in time, but right now, there's no debate. There's no debate. There's no chance of him being a Myron Gaines. That's why you got clout. That's why you got him being Woody to Myron Gaines, Buzz Lightyear. He's the new and more advanced toy, while Slimmy is one for the scrap heap. Let's continue.
To take you seriously. And this is what I mean when I say women lack empathy. They kind of know what men like, but they don't know what men are actually attracted to and want to commit to. And that's where the disconnect happens. So what's up happening is they get with a guy, they know how to kind of get the guy just by existing, but it's very difficult for them to keep the guy. And this comes from this lack of training where women are prioritizing career and not necessarily not just attracting the guy, but keeping him long term. And this is where so many women fail, because any girl can get a guy. That's not the hard part. The hard part is, can you get a guy that you actually like and get him to commit to you? And this is where women fail because they lack empathy. And what I mean by empathy is they don't understand men. We have to understand women to attract them. Women don't have to understand us to attract us, because all y'all got to do is be available, look kind of hot, and we'll come talk to you. And we have to do all the work in the beginning. Well, but where women fail is they don't do the work after the guy puts in the work to attract her to retain that guy. That's where a lot of women make the mistake and aren't really able to keep the things. And this is why I'm saying, like, the education system and us women prioritizing their success has overrode their ability to retain men. If that makes sense.
Spoken like a true Rhodes Scholar. Spoken like a true Rhodes Scholar. Excuse me. He has broken it down to where women have to take note and say, yes, we have prioritized career over family. We have prioritized ourselves over our men. And as a result, there's a reason for the divorce rate being at 50-60%. There's a reason why most women launch divorces. There's a reason why most men aren't seen. And you can see it in synopsis here. More women would not see a Slimmy or a Q Diddy, but they'll see a Myron. They will see a Myron because he is of that superstar status. And once you have that sort of status, what do you have? You have their attention. You have their attention. That's why Myron Gaines is akin to Michael Jordan in this space. No doubt about that. People come to see Myron Gaines. People pay money to watch him work. And for you to do that while being demonetized is saying something. When you have celebrities such as Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp talk about manosphere, red pill talking points, everything that Myron says, and see it as gospel and put it into their own verbiage. There's no debating who this man is. And he is that top 10% that women want. He's tall. He has money. He's got dark triad traits. He is a master orator and debater. And he puts people on posters, especially women. That's all the respect you need.
What do you think about that, Mika and Molly?
Oh no, he's 100% correct. I mean, that's exactly what my father always taught me. So he's absolutely correct. And then, the women, anytime, and we've talked about this tons of times on this panel, anytime the women are, how in a belief mindset that, I have, they'll call it pick me. They'll call it, you're trying to, follow the man and everything. And if you say yes, because that's literally what I was taught, then it's, okay, well, it's always something bad. It's always something downtrodden. And he's gonna he's going to leave. What if he leaves? What if he does this? What if he does that? It's never looking at it from the standpoint of trying to have a family unit. Everything is a risk, right? But it seems like in today's society with feminism, if you prioritize this, then if this happens, at least you have a job, at least you have a degree, at least you have, money. It's not prioritized as it may be a risk, but at the end of the day, you may have a family.
And one thing that Myron points out all the time is that at least women have a choice. They can either pursue their career or they can pursue a family. Men know what their choice is. You better work or die. You better make some money or be homeless or failing which, not get any sort of female play. Men understand what is at stake. There is no choice for them. There is a choice for women. It's just that a lot of women make the wrong choice and keep it for way too long. Let's continue.
And here's the other thing too. I really want to bring to light what you just said, because what you just said is extremely important with the concept of calling women pick-me's, right? This is a very pernicious cycle that I've noticed in modern women, where they'll see women doing what's required to actually attract a man, like whether it's being super submissive, being super nice, listening to their man, dressing the way that their man wants, cooking for him or whatever. They're doing these like traditional roles. And I don't know what it is, but like women look at this and it's like their knee-jerk reaction to say, "Oh, you're a pick-me. Oh, you're being caved in by your man." Like this girl right now is literally going viral. Emily Saves America. She's supposed to be a conservative, and she talks about, "Hey, well, you should probably still get a job. You should still get a hobby, blah blah blah." And that goes against conservatism, and that's why I say a lot of these women that are conservatives are really undercover feminists, because what they're doing is they're teaching women this pernicious cycle you just mentioned with this whole "don't be a pick-me" or whatever, because we have an entire society that tells women, hey, don't do anything for the express consent for a man. You need to put yourself first, not knowing that if you actually want to keep a guy first, you actually have to put yourself second. Your job is the aid, the assistant, the helpmate, because when a man is put forward, when we win, you win by extension. But if we put the woman forward and the woman wins, what ends up happening is the woman's like, I don't need this nigga. Like, his job is to provide for me. I'm the one providing. This is why I tell guys all the time, you got to be the leader, and the girl's got to like you more than you like her. Because since women are the ones used to being pursued, the only time they're going to respect the man is when they're finally pursuing, because they never do that. So that's how they're able to distinguish, do I got a winner or a loser? Am I following him or is he following me? Because this whole like, I'm going to build my wife up, I'm going to move for her and her career. I tell guys, never do that, because when you do that, what you've inadvertently done is you've given her the frame and the leadership role in the relationship. And though women will sit there and say, I want to be equal partner, what I've realized is their actions never actually reflect that. They want you to be the leader. They want you to dictate the terms. And the biggest way for that to happen is by her kind of submitting to and having this pick-me thing that a lot of women use. But whenever I see women saying, put it this way, ladies, if girls are calling you a pick-me, you're doing something very right. Do not listen to the feminist propaganda that tries to almost like, when men insult each other and emasculate each other, like when we tell each other that, oh, you're a pick-me or you're an idiot for following a man or you're stupid or you could do better. That's all shaming language to keep you from having a man. One of the biggest things, and I'll end with this. This guy, his name is something Desire. Oh my God, I can't remember now because I've been streaming for like 8 hours.
He's talking about the desirable truth. If you ever seen it on Instagram, on TikTok, again, he's a man who gives women questions about their relationships. The black guy, I think he's Caribbean, but or Haitian. Anyway, he's the same thing. But again, he's talking about the desirable truth. Do look it up on YouTube, on Instagram, or on TikTok.
Long story short, the truth desire, something like that. He interviewed a divorce attorney, is the main bottom line here. And he asked the divorce attorney, she's a female divorce attorney, hey, who initiates most of the divorces and why? And she said something that I've been saying for years, and I thought it was awesome because it finally vindicated me. She said the women initiate the divorces, and a big reason why they do it is because they get talking to their girlfriends, and their girlfriends put shit in their ear. And it's back to that cycle you just mentioned with pick me, you do everything for him, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And women will see other girls happy with a guy in a good relationship, and they'll try to ruin that and be like, why are you with him? You can do better. Oh, he has sim. Oh, look, he's controlling. He's XYZ. When in reality, he's everything that she wants. But since they're not happy and they don't got what they want, because it's so much harder to find a mate for women, they'll sit there and try to tear her shit down. And that's like one of the you know, I tell girls, if you have a relationship, get rid of all your single friends. They're gonna lead you astray.
Let me.
We're gonna leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. It's a masterclass in intersexual dynamics, an absolute masterclass. And for a room full of black women to sit there, silent, taking notes, without interjecting or trying to be combative, you must be doing something right. You must be doing something right. And before Myron had his reputation, it used to be on, especially on his after-hour show on Fresh and Fit, it used to be hell for leather, women going at him, trying to challenge his viewpoints, but he started putting them away. It was like Jordan's rookie season. When you start putting them away, putting up 60 points, putting them away, and you have years of service like that. Same thing with Kevin Samuels, same thing with Andrew Tate. When you start putting these women away and speaking to the core of their beings, you get an audience just like this, where black women's mouths are closed, they're taking mental notes, and they understand that this is not the man to play with. This is Michael Jordan. Of the intersexual dynamics, this is my very, very few people get the sort of clicks that Myron does. Very, very, very few people want to debate Myron on these sort of subjects. Very few. Because they know Myron comes with facts, data, and statistics, very much like Andrew Tate, very much like Kevin Samuels. And for that clip, men should be eternally grateful. But remember, he treats men worse than he does women. He asks men to do more for themselves than he does women. He just calls women out for their bullshit. They don't exactly like it because it goes against the grain of feminism, modern womanhood, and their game, which is to only draw their attention to the top 10 to 20% of men, or the Chad and Tyrones of the world. This man is a master at work, and men should be so very, very thankful that he is here for us today. And as you can see, the After Hours with the girls is on right now. So shout out to Anton Daniels. He has his own After Hours show. As you can see, it takes very much after the likes of Fresh and Fit. And but again, these guys are on the same page, and they have. There's a reason why Anton Daniels had him on, because he has respect for Myron Gaines, as Myron Gaines has for Anton Daniels. And this is a great collaboration. If you have a chance to look at it in full, please do. It is just simply poetry in motion, and you can see why Myron Gaines has the reputation that he does. Let's see if there are any comments out there. No, we're good. We've already cleared them up. So let's get back to the full count. Ladies and gentlemen, we should be so lucky. Men should be so lucky to have Andrew Tate. Not only Andrew Tate, but Myron Gaines in their corner. Myron Gaines is a man who would, who sees, who's totally has granular knowledge of the subject of intersexual dynamics. He understands what women think. He understands how women speak. He understands the modern woman feminist mindset, and knows how to deal with said ideas and personalities. And, men should be very, very thankful that he is on one's team. And to be fair and frank, I only see his success continuing, despite the fact I only see him getting more credibility. When he starts reaching out to women, especially black women, and they having nothing in response to what he has to say, and they have to walk away from the exchange of views, having learned something, you've done something right. So shout out to Anton Daniels and Myron Gaines getting together for that collaboration on his show. And listen, we're in the presence of greatness, and for us to when you get the likes of Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines fighting on behalf of men in this modern sexual marketplace. It is, you're in good hands, and it is hoped that he has a long and fruitful career breaking down what took years to build, that is feminism, modern womanhood, and we can get back to some home truths and better times. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Live. We're going to leave it right there. I'm going to get back to this game here over at Oklahoma City and Denver. Oklahoma City is actually serving up Denver tonight. They weren't playing. They did not like that loss. And I think they got a 45 point lead on Denver right now. So I'm going to go back and see about that show, and also going to get a workout in, get a run in and such, because I need to keep myself sharp and keep myself fit, as Myron Gaines would say. But thank you very much for joining me to talk live tonight. We're going to try to have a show tomorrow night. If not, then we're going to leave things till next week. But we're going to be rolling out with more shows starting next week as we move into the summer. So thank you very much for joining me to Talk Live. We'll be back with you very, very soon, and I look forward to seeing you then. We're going to end things on Instagram here. And good night from Toronto. And thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. We are going to end the YouTube stream. This is going to go up. This is going to be uploaded straight away. And I thank you very much for taking the time to speak this. And if you ever get a chance to see Myron Gaines, please watch him on YouTube while you can. Also, do sign up to him on Rumble. That's where he can have his debates uncensored. Also, he's available on his own platform on Locals. He does a lot of great content for men and for ladies who want to be wives as well. So look out for that. And I sincerely hope he has a long and fruitful career, because he is a credit